Hey guys, welcome back to another Helix video. So today I want to talk about how to set up a preset that will respond and behave like a two-channel amplifier. You can use the same method to, keep going. You could set up with using snapshots. You could set up two, three, four channel amp, and you'll see as I show you the example of how to do that, what I mean when I say that. This is pretty cool because there's a lot of amplifiers inside of Helix that have a very wide range of tones available based on the controls of the amplifier. And you cannot change the amplifier block within a preset using a snapshot or a foot switch, meaning whatever amp you select, that's the amp for the preset unless you change the amp manually and save the preset. You can't change it with like a foot switch control or a snapshot control. Now, based on how much DSP you have available in your preset, you can set up with two different amplifiers in the same preset. And I have other videos on my channel about setting up dual paths if you'd like to take a look at that. But in this video, we're just going to focus on taking one amp model and trying to get the most out of it and treat it as if it were a model with two channels, a clean and a dirty. So let's hop over to HX Edit and take a look. Okay, so here we are in HX Edit. Let's take a quick look at the preset, the components of it, and then we'll get into what makes it a two-channel setup. So we have volume pedal, tube screamer, we have the Dr. Z amplifier, and then the matching 2x12 cabinet, and also a 4x12 greenback cabinet, LA Studio Comp, basic reverb. Those preset will be on custom tone, and the link to download it will be in the description below. So let's get over to the amplifier. What you'll see is the parameters in the white brackets. Basically, that's telling us that those are set to be controlled by either a snapshot or a foot switch. We come over here and we see a 10 with the icon for the foot switch. We know that it's assigned to foot switch number 10. You can assign that by right-clicking any parameter. You can assign up to 8 parameters to a foot switch and maybe in the 30s, I think, maybe 32 for a snapshot. Don't quote me on that, but you can control a lot of parameters with a snapshot. Okay, so looking at what we have, this is the clean channel, or what we're going to refer to as the clean channel. Drive is way down on 2.5. The channel volume is all the way up, and the master volume is down around 6-ish. The reason the channel volume is cranked is because when we pull the drive and the master down, we're losing some volume. We're going to bump those up considerably when we go to the distortion channel. So we'll also move that channel volume down a bit. So this is the clean channel. Just a nice, I really like this amp model a lot. Actually, in the HD 500 days, this was like my go-to amp model. But I like it for clean and overdrive. It's just a great tone, in my opinion. I'm going to hit the gain switch. We see that drive has jumped up to 8. Also, the presence has dropped back a little bit. Well, actually, quite a bit. The channel volume has dropped back quite a bit. Master is now cranked to 10. So here's what we have for the dirty channel. And it just sounds good. To me, it has that kind of Marshall Plexi kind of thing to it. I did put a tube screamer on here. If you download this patch and want to use it for lead, I still like having something, not so much about adding more gain, just a nice mid boost, which the tube screamer does, just to add a little thickness for solos. And a little bit of a volume boost as well. But that's pretty much, that's it. That's the thing. That's the two channels, right? So let me show you a little more detail about how I set this up specifically. So I right-clicked, of course, and selected the foot switch I wanted to use. I grabbed all the parameters that I wanted to change. Some of them, as an example, like I said a minute ago, you can assign up to 8 foot switches, 8 parameters per foot switch. So right now I've got 8 assigned to this, but let's say if I really wanted to control sag, middle and treble, and bass even, I'm not I'm not changing any of those three. So I could unassign those to free up spaces. So you can be a little picky if there's certain parameters you want to control. Feel free to play around with that. And you may find that you want to have some EQ changes. Sometimes you may want a little more bottom end on like a clean sound, and then it might sound a little flubby, or depending on the amp model, a little flubby or bassy where you pull back, tighten it up for the drive. Just things like that you have to play around with per each amp model. So once you've got to the point here where we have the parameters assigned, you come over to this tab, the bypass controller assigned. We have a list there, and let's go pick from this drop down. So here we see drive. So the max drive is when the foot switch is activated, 8, and when it's, which is the maximum value. The min value is, I have it for 2.5. So basically you just go, parameter by parameter. Again, bass, middle, treble. In this little template preset, I haven't bothered to adjust the EQ. Download this, you may find you want to. But basically that's what it is. So with channel volume, with the minimum setting, sometimes the minimum setting will be higher than the max setting, because on the max setting is it's on, it's more drive. So I want this parameter lower. On the minimum setting, when the foot switch is disengaged, is when I need that bump to get the clean back up to be loud enough. And that's pretty much how you do it. Here it tells you whenever you come to the amp, if this were, let's say, if I had something assigned to we have the bypass sign, but if I had something assigned to the, tone of the tube screamer, let's just do this as an experiment. I'm going to assign foot switch number 1. So if I wanted the tube screamer to be full out, or on 1, if it's minimum, that's all you have to do. And now that foot switch number 1 will be assigned to that. When it's off, the tube screamer's gain will be 1. When it's on, the tube screamer's gain will be, or tone, actually is this parameter I have currently, but be the same thing for gain or level. So I'm going to take this back off because we're not going to be doing that today. So that's basically it. That's basically how you would set up, a 2-channel amplifier. You may want to experiment with, different amps in the list to see which one, some are going to work better for this than others. Some amp models respond better to having drive pedals in front of them. And I'm thinking about certain Fender models that if you push the amp model too hard, it just kind of gets a little loose and not always what you're looking for. There's a point where it's awesome and it gets a little, So some amp models may respond better to just drive pedals, but the ones that respond really well to just, having the amp cranked and just sound amazing, but also sound really great clean, are great candidates for this kind of method. And that will just be for you to go in and experiment and see what you think. I've had good results using this on, Marshall models, the matchless, a lot of Vox stuff is fun to do this with, and to a degree, the Fender stuff as well. But you may just have to experiment, see which ones, tickle your fancy in terms of which ones you like the amp model pushed and clean. And if you find one that you do like both ends of the spectrum, you can assign a foot switch and you've essentially got a 2-channel amplifier. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that gives you some ideas. This preset will be available free to download. The link is in the description below. As always, thank you so much for checking out the videos. If you don't mind, hit the like button. If you've enjoyed this video, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, comment, all the stuff. I really do enjoy getting feedback from you guys. I have some very fun and interesting conversations with you guys in the comments, and I do enjoy that quite a bit. So thank you so much for your interaction and the time you spend checking this stuff out, and we'll see you on the next one.